I decided not to prepare much for this video because I wanted you to see how easy this is going to be. And I recently moved all of my websites over from SiteGround.com over to DigitalOcean.com. And for a lot of people, there's a barrier here, and it's that DigitalOcean, it's just a Linux server. You've got a lot of different options of what you can do, but compared to something like Wix or or GoDaddy, it's going to seem like it's much more difficult, or also Squarespace or something like that, because you don't have all these easy interfaces, and you don't have this easily manageable. Well, this has changed quite a bit. You don't have an easily manageable panel or anything like that, but I'm going to tell you that you can have those things very easily. Listen, I know a lot of you are running around out there with the stock wallpaper. I know you don't have the dark theme activated. I know you don't have your customization options in check because you have not activated your copy of Windows. You've got that stupid logo on the bottom. You shouldn't be living like this. No one should live like this. This is whokeys.com, where you can get a really good deal on a bunch of software, but namely Windows and Office, where Windows Home or Pro. You can also get a combination of Windows 10 Pro plus Office 2019, or you can just get Office 2019 all by itself. So I'm going to grab Windows 10 Pro, and then we're going to activate it. Just use the coupon code TS25 until the end of the month. Now, if it's after September, you can use TS20. Once you've made your purchase, it'll redirect you to this page. If you lose this page, you can just go up here on the top, click on this, and then click on User Center. If it's taken a minute, you can just press the F5 button to refresh the page, and hey, there it is, View Keys and Codes. Then click on Get the Key. Here in the middle of the page, that is your key. Copy that, press Start, type Activate, and click on Activation Settings. From here, click on Change Product Key, paste it in there, click on Next, and you will be activated. That's all there is to it. So use TS25 now. If you're watching this video later, you can still get a discount by using TS20. So either one of those will work. Grab some stuff while you're over there, Windows, Office, and get it activated. You can have way more control. And when it comes to how much you're nickeled and dimed by these companies, you're actually going to save money by using DigitalOcean. So you're going to get more speed, you're going to get way more control, it's still going to be easy to use, and it's going to be less expensive than what you're typically going to pay with some of these shared hosting services. So it's kind of a no-brainer at this point. Installing a panel on here does use a tiny bit of resources on your server, but it really doesn't even matter these days. Everything's so fast. So the first thing you need to do is get DigitalOcean up and running. So if you just look right down below, in the top of the description, there's going to be a link that says Get DigitalOcean. Now that's my affiliate link. It doesn't actually pay me directly. What it does is it gives me credit towards my websites. So one of the things you can do to say thank you, other than posting a comment or something below, is you can go ahead and click on that, and that'll just help with our website. So that's like a nice way to say thanks. And I thank you for clicking on the link. Okay, we're done thanking each other. One thing you need to know before you register for DigitalOcean is that you'll need to have your domain registered somewhere else. So if you already got your domain at a different server or a different service, you can just point that very easily over to DigitalOcean. I'll show you how to do that. If you don't have a domain, or even if you do, I would recommend using Cloudflare. So you can come over to Cloudflare right now, and I'll put this link in the description, and you can register your domain. I recommend this for multiple reasons. Number one, security. And number two, it's the cheapest anywhere because they don't mark up the price. They're hoping that you'll, be a premium member and buy some of their extreme features. But I've got several different websites, and I've never had to spend a dime on Cloudflare. They really make their money from the big corporate websites and stuff. So if you're a big website, maybe you'll be interested in some of those super crazy features. But for most of us, you can just come over and register your domain. It's like $7.70 or 58 cents, depending on what country you're in. It may be a little different, but it's extremely inexpensive. And they completely hide your personal information. So you're not even going to have to worry about paying extra. Like a lot of these services will charge you $2 or $3 a month. That's like $24 a year just to keep your personal information private so that people can't find your name and address on the internet. Cloudflare will take care of all that. So register your domain name right here. And then once you're finished, we're going to go ahead and get DigitalOcean up and running. So when you're first here, you're greeted with this. Just come over here on the top and click on Sign Up. I'm already signed up, so just go ahead and go through the sign up process. So once you're logged in, you're going to be greeted with your panel here in DigitalOcean. Over on the left, you'll have projects. Now you create different projects. These projects, they're just so you can organize. That's all they are. So I created a new project called Awesome. You can just plus new project, whatever, and type it in here. This is not that important where you're doing, just trying out DigitalOcean. That's the other nice thing about this is you pay as you go. You don't have to pay for a full year in advance. So if you just wanted to test some things, you can just try it out and go. So that's what I've done here. I've got a server already up and running here with this, but let's start a new server just so you see how easy it is. And they call their basic servers droplets. And these are just little servers. They allocate some resources to you. They dedicate, you can be dedicated 1 or 2 CPUs and stuff like that. If you want to host your apps here or whatever, you can do all that. And it gets nerdier as you go down. Actually, Kubernetes is very nerdy, but we're not going to cover that. And I'm going to try not to throw weird words at you like Kubernetes, so you're not scared away from this because it's really easy. So click on droplets. If you're an advanced Linux user, you know what you're doing already. Here's where it starts getting a little nerdy and people start to get overwhelmed. It's like, oh, I've got to pick a version of Linux and all this kind of stuff, and I don't know what all this means. Don't worry. There's a way easier way to do this. Click on Marketplace, and we're going to get a panel, sort of like you have cPanel, or like with SiteGround, you have all these different easy to manage functions and features. Well, we can install something like that with one click here by just typing the word panel. And there's a few that are going to come up. I don't see AA panel, but there's a cPanel, which you'll have to pay for. And the best panel that I think is on here, as far as features and quality goes, is the CyberPanel. This one's not bad either, but I like the developers on this one a little better. So that's actually a big deal for me. So you just click on that, and what it's going to do is it's going to install CyberPanel on an Ubuntu Linux server. And then you'll be able to access that without having to worry about all the command line stuff, other than just a little bit. And then down here, let's just start with the $6 a month one. And $6 a month, I'm actually going to click on AMD, just because reasons. It's nice to have AMD as an option, and they're generally slightly better. But this will give me 1 AMD CPU dedicated, 1 gigabyte of RAM dedicated, and 25 gigabytes of NVMe storage, so that's super fast. Now what's nice about this is, say you're doing like a site where you're hosting lots of images and stuff, you can always connect your site to something else like Amazon S3 or Wasabi for data storage. But right here you can also add block storage. And this is a relatively inexpensive way to add, a bunch of space to your website. You're like, okay, I need 100 gigabytes. Well, you're not going to have to come up and resize your entire server and change all your features. You can just add chunks of storage on, and you can do that later. So I'm going to go ahead and click remove because I don't need that right now. Then it's generally a good idea to pick the server that's going to be closest to your customer, because you want them to have a nice fast experience. I'm going to pick the one that's closest to me just for now. So I'll pick the San Francisco one, but if you live in San Francisco and all your customers are in Singapore, then pick that one. As we scroll on down here, you don't need to worry about any of these options. And we need to create a password for the root access to our droplet. And this is just basically going to be the password that you'll need to log in if you ever log in to your droplet through SSH, or if you hire someone, they might need this. Let's put it that way. SSH keys is a different way to do it, possibly a little more secure. And if you're someone who uses Linux, you might want to do that way. Okay, so I put my password in there. You can make multiple droplets if you want to. I'm just going to call this test. I like to leave the machine name in there, like this big long name. I like to leave that in there just because it tells me, okay, it's got CyberPanel, Ubuntu, 1 CPU, 1 gigabyte, AMD, San Francisco. So I know all the information that I need, but you can add something to be the beginning here. So I'm just going to call this test for now, so we can show it. And it's going to go into my awesome project folder over here. If you want to enable backups, you can do that. But in CyberPanel, you can also configure backups that way. So different ways to do it. All right, creating the droplet. It's going to install our pre-packaged version of Linux with CyberPanel right here. So just give it a second. It doesn't take long at all. After we do this, we need to log into the terminal one time. That's it, just one time, to just get a copy of our password. Now they're going to try to mail this to you. So as long as your email settings and everything work out, there's a good possibility that the email will show up and it'll tell you your password so you can log in. Okay, so that's finished and we have everything installed. You can just click here to get started, and there's a quick start page. So go ahead and click on the quick start page and scroll down until you see a command. it says, here's how you log into CyberPanel. I'll show you that in a second. But all right, here's what you need. You need this password command. Your username's going to be admin, but we need to get our password. So just highlight and copy this, sudo cat.lightspeed password. This is the most technical thing that you're going to have to do. So highlight that and copy it. And then we're going to need to come up and click on the ... right here beside test, beside whatever your site is, and access console. Click on console. This is going to bring up the Linux command line. Now the first thing you'll need to do is just make sure that your CyberPanel is completely up to date. So go ahead and update it. Just hit yes. It's going to take about as much time as it took to install everything. So just wait another 5 minutes. It's worth it to have everything securely updated. And that's another reason it's nice to install CyberPanel. If you're trying to do everything through the command line, sometimes it's difficult to keep things maintained and updated. And this is going to make sure that it's very easy for you. Okay, once that's finished, you'll be presented with just a command prompt. And you're going to want to right click and then click on paste. Control V usually doesn't work here, so you have to right click and then click paste. Or you can just type out sudo space cat space dot lightspeed underscore password. This will give you your password, and we can highlight and copy this again using the right click and copy. So as long as that's copied, we can close this window and move on. That's it. That's the nerdiest thing we have to do. That's the worst of it. We want to open up our website. So in order to do that, we need to go to our IP address. So go back here, click on awesome. It shows you right here when you get started. If you forget this information, like, how do I get to my CyberPanel? How do I get there? Right over here, it'll tell you. You go to your host or IP :8090. That's all there is to it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to actually copy this because it's easier. Click on copy, open up a new window, paste it, :8090. Now it's going to give you a security warning at first because we don't have this locked down with any SSL or anything like that, but that's fine. You're going to be the one accessing this. Hit advanced and accept the risk. Username is admin. And the password is the one we just got. So again, I'm going to copy that again. Copy, paste it here, and then I'm going to sign in. So I like to create a different user. That's just me. You can create a new user here, give them admin rights, and then log in under that one. Doesn't matter that much. So let's just go through the CyberPanel and give you a tutorial on how this works. So it's just now set up everything. So we've got our RAM usage is pretty high, but that'll go down in a little bit because we just finished, like I said, doing a lot of things. And right here from the dashboard, you can see a lot of the functions and features that we can do. We can add users. You can have multiple users and you can give them different levels of access. And if you're a reseller, you can also create a reseller account, and that'll have separate, resources devoted to it. So your websites, you can create websites, and the websites will work with your packages. I'll show you that in just a second. Databases, mostly for your websites, especially if you're running WordPress or anything that, wiki or anything like that, media wiki. DNS server is built in here. That's something that you can use with Cloudflare, but this will connect to Cloudflare. So whenever you make a change here, it will change your DNS settings on Cloudflare. FTP accounts, you can create as many as you like right here. And you can create different FTP accounts for your different websites and then log into them very easily with FileZilla or whatever your favorite FTP program is, Qt FTP, whatever. Okay, we have backups. Like I was just telling you, we can set up backups, and we can also send them to remote storage. I think Amazon S3 and FTP are supported right now. You can run an email server right here. So if you wanted to have your emails come in here, manage your own email server, do it. SSL certificates, it will issue you a Let's Encrypt Ssl certificate. You can manage all that very easily right here. Or I'm going to show you how to do it with Cloudflare. Your PHP information is right here, and this will very quickly allow you to change basically like your PHP INI file. Sometimes when you're trying to upload files, it's like, oh, you're uploading a file that's too big, or in WordPress you get that a lot, like, oh, this is nope, not allowed. You're uploading a 5 megabyte file. Nope, not going to work. Just come here and click and easily change the maximum upload size and that sort of thing with your PHP options here. There's your logs, and then we have our security. Now let's go through some of this. So you're setting up a new website. Well, the first thing I want to do is just check my packages here, right? So we have list all of our packages, list them all. We have our default package. And what does our default package allow? Okay, so each website can have 20 domains, like 20 subdomains. You know what? I'm going to just make it unlimited. I don't care. Disk space for our primary website, 1,000 megabytes. I'm going to make it 0 for unlimited, bandwidth unlimited. I'm just going to have one website on here, so I want it to have everything. I'm just going to change my default to unlimited. So whatever we assign to the default package will be unlimited. FTP accounts, databases, that's a lot. Emails. Okay, force disk and save. There we go. So there's that package. And over here on the sidebar, you can click on stuff here as well, like my packages, and just this is quicker and easier. I usually use list packages. There's my 2 packages. Okay, now let's create a website. So come over here, list your websites and create website. And in this video, I think I'll just go ahead and create a quick WordPress website to show you how easy it is. So selecting the package, I'm going to do the default because I want it to have no limits. And admin will be the owner of that. If you have other users there, you can determine who's going to be the user. And URL, what do I want to use? Okay, so I've decided to use scienceandsorcery.org. And I've got that registered at Cloudflare, and you should too. So after you have it registered at Cloudflare, this is how you're going to use that domain. There we go. DNS, scienceandsorcery.org. Let's edit the IP address, and I'm going to point that IP address to my CyberPanel IP right here. Science and Sorcery. If you just do an @ sign, that means then it's going to come up as Science and Sorcery. I'm going to add some more records. A records are the main root records, so I'm going to add a www. So anybody who goes to www.scienceandsorcery.org is also going to go to that IP address. And I'm also going to add like a test domain or a staging domain. Show you how that works. Add an A record for I'll do test again. So now anybody who goes to test.scienceandsorcery.org will also be forwarded to that IP address. And we'll do FTP just so, if you wanted to use ftp.scienceandsorcery.org or whatever your website is, you'll be able to use that instead of the IP address. Okay, so that is all pointing now to our CyberPanel here, to scienceandsorcery.org. It's the best game you've never played. I always like to copy it from here just to make sure, because the other day I did this and had a typo and didn't realize it. So it's just for safety, copy and paste. And the PHP version, if you're going to be using WordPress, at the time of making this video, 7.4 is the one I would recommend, even though WordPress and some of the plugins do support PHP 8. It's a pretty big upgrade, and a lot of the plugins do not yet support it. So in order for maximum compatibility at the time of making this video, 7.4 is the way to go. Maybe in a year, 8 will be the way to go. You can do SSL now if you like. I'm going to leave SSL blank for just a minute. Actually, let me just make sure. Let's see here. If you want to do SSL, you can take a look at your Cloudflare. Okay, let's do full, and we'll go ahead and assign SSL now, since everything's good. So full means that Cloudflare is encrypted, and then your server, you're going to need a Let's Encrypt. So let's click on SSL. It will issue you a certificate right now. I'm going to leave this ignored. DKIM support, if you're going to be doing email with this, then I would recommend that. Create website. So this doesn't take very long. Setting up SSL takes longer than most of the rest of the website. And this is going to look a lot like cPanel and stuff when you start managing your website. Right, we're good. It says go back. Don't click on that. It should say go forward or into the website, but you click on websites over here and click on list websites. Okay, Science and Sorcery. Click on manage over here on the right. Here's our panel to manage everything. Make it a little bit smaller. Logs up here at the top. You can stress test this right here. You can hook it up with Git access, whatever SSH access. Very similar to what you get with like a cPanel. Change your PHP version. You wanted to it's time to move to PHP 8. This is so easy, so much easier to do than messing around with the command line. Your mod rewrite rules, there's nothing here yet, but maybe there will be soon. And if you wanted to add an SSL certificate, let's make it really secure. Since we're using Cloudflare, we can add an SSL certificate and make it really secure. So let's go all the way down to full. And that means that Cloudflare is completely encrypted, but it requires a Cloudflare origin server certificate. So we have to click on origin server here. And we need to create a certificate. By default, it's going to give us everything we need. Science and Sorcery means that any website that you make or any domain that you make, like test.scienceandsorcery.org or email.scienceandsorcery.org, they're all going to be covered under this. The default options are completely fine. Hit create, and you're going to want to do this now because you're not going to be able to get access to this private key again. You'll have to recreate a new one. So don't close this page. We're going to copy when you click on it, it'll highlight everything. Copy that. Go back over here. This is our certificate. Paste it in there. Adds an extra space. You can just backspace it or whatever. And then our private key. Copy that. Paste your private key. I'm going to hit backspace. hit save. Now, even though we already had the Let's Encrypt, if you just wanted to do it that way, that's fine. But now we have a very secure setup here going. Click on Edge certificates as well before you leave Cloudflare, and you can force HTTPS. It's an option. And then the TSL version 1.0 is old. Change that to 1.1 just for security purposes. All right, we can go back to our CyberPanel now. All right, scrolling on down here. Got your file manager. We can access that right here in the browser, or you can open up your FTP. Then down here on the bottom, we have an application installer. There's not a lot here. I'd like to see more applications available down here. You know, like, oh, whatever happened to Drupal? Anyway, WordPress plus Lightspeed cache is going to be ridiculously smooth and fast on this server because this is a Lightspeed server. And Lightspeed is the best caching, period, for WordPress, but just a lot of servers don't support it out of the box. This one does, and if you have a server that has Lightspeed, this is the way you want to go. So let's install WordPress plus Lightspeed. Science and Sorcery, login user, wizard. The main user of Science and Sorcery is the wizard, of course. Now, if you're installing multiple copies of WordPress, you can put them in different folders and stuff. You can have a scienceandsorcery.org/whatever, you know, that can be one installation of WordPress, and you can do one somewhere else. But if you just leave this blank, it's going to install it so that when you go to scienceandsorcery.org, it goes straight to your WordPress installation. So that's going to be your website. Install now. All right, we're done. That was that fast. Don't need to go back, but check this out, .org. And there we are. We have an empty WordPress website now. Let's make a post, shall we? Just for grins to show you how easy this is. I'll grab a couple of dragons or something. I don't know, sorcery. Actually, I've got some images on my easy times. All right, we're in our WordPress appearance. I like to delete any of the themes that I'm not going to use. I'm not going to use this one, so delete it. Anything that's here is taking up space and could be a potential security issue. So I haven't seen 2020. Let's see what it looks like for the hell of it. I'll maybe use that one, but let's go ahead and just post a few things first. Here's the theme we have, 2021. You can get new themes. You know how to do this, right? Let's see here. Let's do something ugly. GeoCities. There's not a GeoCities theme. Angel Fire. How is this not a thing? I couldn't find anything stupid and ugly enough when I was typing for Angel Fire and GeoCities, but I did find this. I'm going to get this one. I'm just going to download a theme and install it. Why not? So I downloaded this stupid retro 1996 theme just to see what we can do. I'm going to upload it. Okay, so install this theme. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh no, upload exceeded max file size. What does that mean? How do we fix it? This is going to happen to all of us. This is easy to fix. Go back to your CyberPanel, scroll down and click on PHP and edit PHP config. Select the version you're using, which is 7.4. And normally when you're editing PHP, you'll have this big like php.ini file, and you'll have to go over here and find, okay, where does it say how much you can have? So it's difficult. That's the way we've always done it. If you just click on basic, thanks to the panel, it's all laid out right here. Upload maximum size. I'm going to do 10 megabytes for now. You can always change this later. You know, like when you're first setting up your website, you want this to be big. In fact, I usually like this to be like 100 so I can upload some big plugins and themes and stuff like that. And then post maximum size and that sort of thing. And then I've got a gigabyte of RAM, so I'm going to do 256 memory limit, just a little bit more. Save changes. Just realized I was changing 7.2. Make sure you're on the right version, 7.4. Restart your PHP. Come back over here. Oh no. Upload maximum file, whatever. All right. Upload again. Click install again and watch. Oh, it's done. Live preview. My God, it's hideous. Yes. Activate and publish. Theme options, whatever. Background audio. Oh God, there's audio. Oh, it's hideous. I'm going to make a post just and we'll goof around a little bit. Sure. New post. Block editor. If you love the block editor, that's up to you. Okay, there we go. We got a little stuff there. Let's throw an image in here for good measure, you know. Blocks. Choose block. Image. I'm going to upload an image real quick. You got this huge image in there. It's bigger than it needs to be, but I don't care. I'm going to hit publish. It's better to have your images sized down for the web. Okay, let's view post. See how it looks on our website. There we go. Oh, that's huge. There we go. So we just made a website this fast. in over here. All right, let's go back to the CyberPanel home and look around a little bit more. And let's make sure everything is secure. Click on this, connection secure, verified by Cloudflare. So we completely have HTTPS going. One thing I want to mention is if you go back to your dashboard, make sure that down here in your settings, your site is set up to go to HTTPS and not HTTP. That's not secure. Just make sure when you go to settings, click on general and set that up properly. Always do that first. Save changes. It'll make you log in again. And after that, there we go. Now we're officially, oh, got that nice blue thing stuff. Here's your Lightspeed cache. Make sure that's on. You don't have to configure it all that much. It really just works. And it's very, very fast. It's ridiculously fast. This is not a good thing to show you, but you know what? I just moved a bunch of my websites over here, so I'll just show you the speed on one of those. Just move this website over. Make sure it's nice and small. Click on different pages. They load up almost instantly. Click on an image. It's pretty fast, you know, coming off that NVMe. I haven't clicked on these images yet, so they're not cached. These are just background images for our SymPy. There we go. Yeah, this stuff opens fast. I know Android TV is a big picture. Okay, that opened up really fast too. Oh, cool. So yeah, it works really, really well. So that's our ridiculous website. But you know what? Let's say you want to try some ill-advised stuff. Maybe you do. Click on websites again. We're going to create a staging website so we can have a separate clone of our website isolated. And with that, we'll test things. So let's list our websites and go back to, it'll update the image pretty soon to that monstrosity we just made. And now let's click on cloning stage right here, this very light green thing that's hard to see up in the corner. And we're going to call this test. All right, I'm calling this test.scienceandsorcery.org. And remember, on Cloudflare, we had to create that DNS entry for test so that that can actually be a separate thing. So test is going to go here. And now that we create the domain for it, it'll have a place to go. So start cloning. It's going to clone that stupid website I just made. And a lot of times if you're moving from one WordPress installation to another, it's a good idea to create a cloning account and drop everything in there. Take a look at it and make sure it worked before you copy it to the main website. All right, just let it do its thing. It's going to take a minute for this. It's creating new folders, and it's going to copy the database, copy the, well, there it is, copy the WordPress installation, and then we'll be able to access that. Successfully installed. This go back button needs to go away. All right, list websites. And what that did is it added a new domain right here, test.scienceandsorcery.org. And so there it is. Now we're on test.scienceandsorcery.org. We can log in here the same way. Okay, and here we are. We're logged in. We can test out these plugins. It wants me to install all this nonsense. Contact form, organic builder. Oh no. I usually don't like to do all this nonsense, but I'm just going to do it anyway because it's only going to install here. Okay, bulk actions, install, apply. You know, we can try all kinds of different things here. Let's try some more themes to see if we can find something that's less ugly. You know, let's try this one. Oh, that's hideous. Let's customize it. Colors. There's no dark mode? How dare they? Just do it this way. Make my own dark mode. It's pretty cool that it instantly knew to change the background font. This one doesn't look as modern as 2021, I don't think, but whatever. Are they center aligning stuff? Theme options. Search up there. We don't need a search. No options for that. Okay, there we go. Background image. Let's put a background image on here. You know, I like making really hideous websites, so let's see what we've got here for background images. I'm just going to goof off, found a background image that's nice and dark, kind of in the middle. This one looks pretty good. How big is it? Is it too big? No, that'll work. Okay, 1600 by whatever. Let's use it. Don't want it to repeat, don't want it to scroll, and let's center it. Let's have it fit to screen. There. Oh, we've got us a background. Perfect. I need additional CSS. I can't stand center aligned stuff. So let's fix that by inspecting. Let's see what that's called. That's our post meta needs to float left. So I'm going to do dot post meta curly bracket float colon left. Not far enough left, but whatever. Do the categories. You know, I don't even want to see the categories. It doesn't really matter to me. So I'm going to inspect to find the category there. What's it called? Entry categories enter. Is that what it's called? Let's just make that not visible. I'm doing dot because it's a class. I'm going to do curly brackets, display. None. There we go. Looking better already. That's a hideous font. All right. Slapped a few things together there to make sure all my stuff doesn't look too ugly. It's whatever. Are they that color? Whatever. I'm just going to publish this because of reasons. So that's how easy it is to, I mean, like in real time here, I've spent like 30 minutes and it's already up and running. I'll have to change that. I'm not going to leave this, but yeah, that's what it looks like. And we're all good to go here. So let's show you some of the other things here. Now we've looked at the websites quite a bit. This is test.science and sorcery. So that change I just made to all this stuff, it's here. Let's say we like our changes. Everything looks pretty good. Go back over here and scroll down. If you want to push your staging site to your main site, scroll down to list domains again and click on the little launch button right here once you click on list domains. Brings this up. Over here in this terribly hard to see green thing, click copy, sync to master. Yeah, whatever, sync all this stuff. Start syncing. I'm going to push everything to our master website. Now you may have to go in here and change some of the URLs. Good. There it is. What do you know? I'm just going to go into our dashboard and make sure that our settings, everything is correct. So there we go. We just made some changes and pushed them to the main site. And they're there. It's floating to the left here. I don't like this theme very much. It's whatever. But yeah, that giant all caps CSS that I did, the customized CSS, is still here. Right there it is. It's all the stuff I did on the test site. Easy. Okay, we're done. Let's go back into the CyberPanel and just look around some more. If you want to edit or delete your databases, you can do that. If you want to access PHP MyAdmin, that's right here. Let's take a look at DNS. So this has its own DNS server. If you weren't going to be using Cloudflare or whatever, you can create name servers right here. Now, why would you do that? Let's say you wanted to keep your domain for whatever reason hosted on Namecheap or GoDaddy or Wix. You can have your domain there, but not use their storage or not use their server features. You can create a name server here. So this name server is going to be like nameserver1.science and sorcery. So we just create this. I'm not going to go through all this right now. You create your name server, and then you can point from whatever other service, you can point that to these name servers instead, and then use this as your DNS. I probably wouldn't recommend using this as the full-on DNS, but you could. And then down here you can, configure your name servers and that stuff. That's going to go beyond the scope of this video. DNS zones beyond the scope of this video as well. But check this out. We have Cloudflare here. So you can put in your Cloudflare API token. It's very easy to find. Where is it? You click on your username if you click on your profile on the right, click on my profile. Right here you'll see API tokens. So right here, API tokens, this is where you need to go. It's under your profile, and then just click on API tokens, and you can view your global API key. So I just put in my API key right here. And we can click on this and check that out. These are all of our settings from Cloudflare. So you can add stuff, and then once you're finished, you can sync it to Cloudflare, or you can set it up in your API access to automatically always be syncing it to Cloudflare. And what that really does is it allows you to just use the one interface. You're not going to have to go over and log into Cloudflare, do your 2FA and all that stuff. You can just modify everything from right inside here. It's extremely easy. Okay, that's DNS. If you wanted to set up an email server, you can do that. It's going to go beyond, again, the scope of this video, but let's say like I wanted to use, you could create email.science and sorcery or email.your website. Create your username and password, and it has its own internal email server that you can set up. FTP accounts should be self-explanatory. Pick your website, set up your FTP account, and then log in with your FTP client. Okay, backups. We have lots of different backups. You can create a backup right now if you wanted to, but let's check out like remote backups. You can do, Google Drive, is that new? So you can do local and SFTP, or you can set up Google Drive for just backups right now. Remote backups down here on the bottom. Click on remote backups. Put in your IP address and password. But the thing I want to show you here is really incremental backups. Incremental backups, you can add and remove destinations. And you can use secure FTP or Amazon AWS, which is Amazon S3. You just got to search through Amazon to get your API key. And then you can have remote backups on a schedule that go, you can do it every day, every week, whatever you want. So you can have backups going over to your AWS account. It's difficult to say. I have not tried this with Wasabi, but Wasabi is usually a little cheaper, and I like Wasabi. If you haven't heard of that, it's just a very similar I guess, data storage utility. But I like Wasabi, and it's usually compatible with Amazon S3. SSL, there's something called a host name SSL. So you could say like, oh, you know what, you can make another one that's like panel.yourwebsite.com and use that to be how you log into the cPanel. But you'll need to issue an SSL for that. So let's just do test and you can issue an SSL for it. You'll still have to go to :8090. So now I can just go to test.scienceandsorcery.org :8090. One thing, in order to get this working perfectly, you are going to have to mess around a little bit with Cloudflare to make sure that your security settings are perfect for that. So that's a little bit beyond the scope. Down here is some of the nerdier stuff. You know, if you wanted to do Docker and stuff, have some Docker, you can install Docker. Install some containers. If you wanted to run like a WordPress website, install a container and run JS Wiki or something, you could do that very easily, or run a forum with one of the Docker containers. You could do that. Again, that's a little bit nerdier than I think a lot of people are going to get, but you know, it's there for you. Okay, then we got our logs and our security. Set up a firewall if you like, SSH access, modify all that, mail server settings, and then plugins are something that you can add on your own. What's this? Incremental backups is still there. If you want to click on plugins, you have to add plugins manually, and then they'll show up down here. You'll have to add those with the command line, but again, that's beyond the scope. So that's all I really wanted to do in this video, is just give you an overall view of how easy it is to make a website with this, and just remind you that this is on Nerdy dedicated hosting, and it's so much faster. Like, it's on, you know, we're doing all this with this, but we have a CyberPanel installed on top of that to make it very easy. If you want to update CyberPanel, that's also very easy. I'll show you how to do that, then we'll be done. So over here, I'll put this link in the description. There's a link for how to update CyberPanel. Just copy this. That's all you have to do, is just upgrading CyberPanel, and this will keep things up to date, mostly for security reasons. So you just come over here, right click and paste that, and press enter, and it's going to update CyberPanel. So you can pick the version. After 10 seconds, it's just going to install the latest version. So it's installing a new version of CyberPanel right now, or the latest version. It's just going to reinstall the other one, but it's not destructive. All your stuff's still going to be there when you're done. I do like to make a backup before I do this, just because you can never be too safe. So make a backup before you do this. Update your CyberPanel. It will update all the security stuff with your Linux server. Super easy to do. So I'm going to make another video showing you how to migrate your WordPress from another website, like if you're using SiteGround or some other hosting website like Bluehost or something. Show you how to migrate that over to this. You have more control, way more speed, and more security features and that sort of thing. So we'll show you how to do that in the second video. It'll cover a lot of stuff we've already covered in this, again, just for redundancy purposes, or if someone watches that video and not this one. So sorry, you're going to have to hear some of the things twice, but that's just how it's going to be. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. Please do click on our link in the top of the description to head over to DigitalOcean and get yourself signed up. Helps us, and that's, you know, if we've helped you, then that's a great way to say thanks. So thank you for thanking us again. That's it. Hopefully you'll be able to use this and use it well. Get everything set up and have a much faster website. The other thing that's nice, even with that small server, you can install a few different websites. As long as you're not getting an enormous amount of traffic, they'll be just fine. So install a few, and if you run out of space, just add a couple blocks of storage on and you'll be good to go. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any questions, put them down there too. I'll see you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Please, for the love of God, stay away from GoDaddy. There's so many issues with that website. I can make an entire video about that, but when I used to do lots of web design for people, I would literally charge them a small surcharge for the GoDaddy frustration fee, just a few bucks, because it was going to take me extra time. It was like, they were like, why? And I was like, it takes extra time.